Hello there. I'm Shaun McLaren, and this is Jeskai Control in Modern with a Nahiri twist. You've probably seen this deck by now. It's kind of the hot topic. In Modern, there are some different ways to build it, but it's basically Jeskai Control with Nahiri the Harbinger, and Emrakul, which is a nice little combo control style finish on a Planeswalker. So your basic plan is to play Nahiri on turn 4, plus it twice, and then -8 on its ultimate, search up Emrakul and attack with Emrakul and win the game, which works a fairly surprising amount of the time, because Nahiri adds a lot of loyalty to itself, and yeah, pretty good Planeswalker, draws cards, gets rid of creatures, enchantments, and artifacts, so complements the Jeskai deck nicely. Can discard extra lands in the late game to discard the Emrakul, which is admittedly the most annoying part of the combo, is just drawing Emrakul, because you never want to do that unless for whatever reason you have 15 mana available, which can happen. The deck can technically get up to 15 mana, but it's very unlikely. So yeah, Nahiri is a really nice addition. Other than that, you've got your fairly standard Jeskai Control, paths, bolts, helixes, electrolyzes, pretty standard there. I've got a couple Serum Visions, I'm trying it out. Not usually a card I like to play in Jeskai Control, but I think it's fine here. I'm just sort of testing it. I like being able to search for Nahiri or search for early game stuff, and just running 2 makes it so you don't draw too many Serum Visions and gum up your early game and early mana, because you have a lot of tapped lands if you're not willing to pay the 2 mana or the 2 life for the shock lands, which usually you aren't wanting to do in a lot of matchups. Then we've got the Remands to buy time, Snapcasters to kill more stuff. Basically just trying to keep the board clear until turn 4, where you can drop Nahiri and then protect it and win the game. Also, Cryptics aren't exactly standard in the list, because it can be a little difficult casting them. I think it's worth it though to tweak the mana base and risk not being able to cast them some of the time. In the same vein, I've got 2 Desolate Lighthouses, which I love being able to loot. As you can see, there's lots of loot in this deck, which is good. Again, discarding Emrakul you want to be able to do, discarding extra lands. Desolate Lighthouse is just really good in Jeskai as being your engine in the late game when you haven't drawn a Nahiri, to just keep you drawing gas in the late game. As for the sideboard, got a bunch of Anger the Gods, a bunch of Crumble to Dust, which isn't exactly standard either. The Anger the Gods are obviously for swarms of creatures, good against like Abzan Company, Elves, the Dredge decks that are popping up and becoming popular, Zoo, that sort of thing. Merfolk, whatever. Good to have access to Anger the Gods, and I'm favoring it more than Wrath of God right now because of the exile clause. Crumble to Dust is of course for Tron decks, which are actually fairly difficult to beat right now, which is why I'm just maxed out on crumbles. Well, maybe not maxed out, but 3 is a lot of crumbles, because I think the Tron matchup is more difficult now than it's ever been, which is mainly because you don't have any ghost quarters or tectonic edges, and because Tron has world breakers and Ulamog's, which you can't just counter for days while they do nothing. Even when you're countering their stuff, they're destroying your lands, which is really bad. So I want to be able to proactively crumble Tron, but if you're not expecting as much Tron, you can cut a crumble, 2 crumbles, whatever you please. Probably want 1 though. Staticaster is great against Infect, Affinity, Elves, that sort of thing. Timely for burn, Zoo, that sort of thing. Right now, we're actually not very good against burn. We don't have much life gain, but I mean, if you expect lots of burn, put in more helixes, more timelies in your sideboard. Right now I'm not expecting a whole lot of burn, or at least willing to sacrifice the burn matchup a little for other matchups. Then we got my standard relics, standard negates, standard stony silences, and standard wear tear. And that's basically it. Actions speak louder than words, so let's get to some games and see how she does.